Oh, now it's on. It's
Perfect.
flashing red.
Perfect. So Chris is going to help
I gotta
us
get my note.
come back to the bench, reset so we don't go out there and repeat our mistakes like we've always said. Mistakes are good, learn from them, and move on.
I probably shouldn't move around.
No, it has a broad
Okay.
lens.
Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here to talk to you.
And one lady.
Yes, I'm sorry. That was
Two
really
ladies.
dumb of me. Listen, chick with a stick. Man, you're the best. Congratulations. I love it. I'm a hockey player too, by the way. What position do you play?
Defense.
Okay, I'm a forward. You rock, girls. You left shot?
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to rule the world, you and me. You know that, right? All right.
No.
I'm going to help you guys rule the world. Who's in?
Hey. I'm gonna roll.
Awesome. Okay. So my company is called the Mental Edge in Sports Performance. Kind of gives you an idea what I'm going to talk to you about. And your coach specifically mentioned how I'm going to help you reset on your bench. Very, very, very important. There's a couple other things that I want to talk to you about before we get into that. How many of you are at least a little bit familiar with the idea that your brain or your mind or how you think has a lot to do with your sport and how you play? All right. So, most of you, and it's okay if you don't, it's okay, let's be honest here, it doesn't matter. There's no right answers, there's no wrong answers. If you want to ask a question because you're confused about something I've said, or you really want to tell me a story, or you've got something important to share, don't start just talking, that would be rude. Put up your hand, and I guarantee that you're going to get a chance to say it, okay? I like this to be a discussion, if we can, because really great things are learned when we talk about things instead of me just blabbing at you for an hour, 45 minutes, whatever we're going to be, okay? So feel free. You don't have to. There's no pressure. I can talk to you. I can fill your mind with all kinds of notions that'll help you become successful. But if you want to say something, you're welcome. So your brain, your mind. How many of you know that the portion of success in anything, whether it's hockey or anything else, that is attributed to your fitness, your wellness, your skill, how you show up to your camp, is 1% of your success. Now, you have an obligation, men, to show up for your camp in August to be in the best shape that you can be. You might as well start now thinking like pros, because you know what? Your draft year is in 3 years. Now, I'm going to put pressure on you and make you think like you have to be something you're not. And I don't always agree with the pressure on young kids, but if that is something that you want in your life, you are aspiring to become some sort of very elite hockey player, or at least a professional hockey player, you have to start thinking about these things now. Do scouts make a decision the night before the draft day, which is usually the beginning of April? Nope. They're starting to look at you now for potential. So, how do you want to show up? How do you want to be that purple cow in a field of brown cows? That's how I like to put it. How do you want to stand out? How do you want to be the head and shoulders above other players that you're competing against? Make no mistake, it is very, very important for you now to start thinking about how you want to brand and market yourself. You don't have to go home and figure all this out today or this year, but just become aware that if somebody is watching you and wants to know who you are as a hockey player, you need to start planning now. You need to start performing now, and you need to be given the tools to do that. And your brain, how you think, your attitude is 99% of that. It's most of it. Now, to be truthful, I don't know who proves these numbers. I don't know how you'd ever prove that. But let's say it's not 1%. Let's say it's 2%, or maybe it's 4%, or maybe it's 10%, or maybe it's 20%. It doesn't matter. It's a significant part of how successful you will be. Okay? Does that make sense? Let me give you some examples. Let's say you've got one of you boys, or any boy who plays hockey, who wants to be an amazing defenseman. And he's a good size. He can skate backwards really, really well. He's got a cannon for a shot, but he has no idea where to be. He has no idea how to support his players. He has no idea when to get back. He has no idea how to protect his goalie. Is he going to be very helpful to his team?
No.
Not as helpful as he could be. Right? And that's not understanding his responsibilities. And he may not have the ability, and he may never have the ability, and that's okay. But if he wants to be an elite player and play in the OHL or play in the NHL or in Europe or wherever, you've got to have that ability. You've got to have the capacity to have that ability. What about this? Who are your goalies here?
Those two.
I have a soft spot for you two. Why is that, Chandler?
Because your son's a goalie.
Yep, my son's a goalie. Let's say one of you boys, you're hot goalies. Technical? Yep. You got fast glove hands?
This is Jack Frost.
Okay. You play the puck well?
Yeah.
You see the puck well?
Sure.
You're positional?
Yeah.
Right? Your angles are always perfect?
No.
You stop lots of shots?
Well, not perfect.
It's okay. Keep time. You stop shots in practice? You
Yeah.
stop shots in your training? You stop shots
Yeah.
in your warm-up? What happens when you're scored on in game and you fall apart? Are you going to be as helpful to your team as you could be?
No.
Right, and that's the issue of self-confidence. And self-confidence, especially for goalies, I think, is huge. The puck comes through 5 guys into you, you're the last line of defense. And you can often feel responsible for letting in the goal, but that's not just your job. You went through 5 guys, so there's 6 guys on the ice, right? So, if you haven't got the self-confidence to do your job, you may not be as helpful as you could be. One more example. Let's say one of you who's a really hot forward. You do everything right. You're fast, you're smart, you score goals, you can skate around people, toe drag, puck between your legs and into the net. What happens when some guy takes you out, spears you, hits you from behind, and you lose it? Every time. You're in the penalty box. Are you as helpful to your team as you could be?
No.
Right. So you will not have the emotional resilience that you need to have to play this crazy game of hockey. It's a crazy game, and it's an emotional game. So at the end of this talk, we're going to talk about resilience, how you can be a little less crazy when those things go wrong in the game. One more point I want to make about learning mental skills is these skills that if you took my course, you would learn a whole array of them. Today you're going to have one. Performance skills are what you learn here with me. Now, performance skills are performance skills, and they apply across your whole life. So, if you want to learn how to study for and write and be successful on a test or an exam, performance skills will help you. If you want to learn how to bring a great presentation in school, performance skills will help you. Eventually, you guys are going to have to get jobs, and you're going to have to go through a bunch of interviews in your life. You're going to need performance skills. If you compete in anything else, let's say you're a musician, or you dance, or you are a debater, you do speeches, okay? You need to have performance skills because you are competing. You need to perform. You need to know how to do that. So that's why learning performance skills in sport is so great, because they apply all across the rest of your life. Adults need to learn performance skills for every area of their life. If you want success, it's not an accident, and it starts now. And it's a step-by-step procedure, and it's work, just like your workouts. Are you guys doing dry land yet? Yeah. Okay. So, do you expect to work out for a week and be?
No.
Right. So you've got a mental muscle that you've got to start working out now. Make sense? Okay. So, are you going to wait till your camp to become fit?
No.
You're going to wait for your camp to sharpen your skill, whatever it is?
No.
You have an obligation then to show up for your camp the best shape possible. So you need to start running. you need to play soccer, whatever's gonna get your wind up. I don't recommend weights or anything like that, I don't know what you're doing, but, your cardiovascular system needs to be tuned up. How many of you take power skating or some sort of skills camps during the summer? Right, okay. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
all good. Now, you know what? I know who I'm talking to. You guys are elite players, because you're AAA, right?
Yeah.
So you're the top of your age group in this area. You are already aware of how to be successful, or you wouldn't be sitting here. So all anybody needs to do with you is tweak a little bit. You've already got a success formula in you, and it shows because you've made it work for you. So congratulations for that. All you need is someone, as I said, to give you little tips. If success is a formula, where does it start?
Long time ago.
Yeah, it has to start somewhere. That's kind of what I was looking for. And that was a really bad question, but thank you, Chandler. You did awesome. It has to start somewhere, and it has to start at some time, right? So it might as well start now. Why not? Why not? When you guys go back to school, well, how about you guys when you're writing tests and stuff, you've got a couple months left of school, right? You could start practicing what I'm going to teach you. What's that? Oh,
EQAO.
oh, you guys still have to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so what you're going to learn
No,
today,
not
you can
awesome.
practice for that, and then you're going to be so good at it when you get to your camp and start playing in September. You're going to like fly. And do you know what else? It's really cool when you learn these mindful techniques in hockey, because some people set 5-year goals. I don't know why people do that. So much can happen in 5 years. But in sport, you will learn whether you are successful in using these techniques within the period of a game or a season. Did it work or didn't it? I saw the numbers that your coach put up for you, how you're going to perform this year. He's awesome. It's going to work. You're going to need those numbers. All right. Any questions, any comments, anything you want to